Tina Yazdani with the scathing results of an investigation into the Ford government's Skills Development Fund. Tina.
Yeah, Alan, Ontario's Labour Minister under fire tonight, fielding questions about how his team spent millions of taxpayer dollars supporting projects backed by lobbyists.
Once you get those political fingers involved in those decisions, it is a recipe for corruption, and that is what this looks like.
Of the 4 investigations released on Wednesday, Ontario's Auditor General appeared the most concerned about one.
It is troubling.
The Ford government's $2.5 billion Skills Development Fund is money meant to train workers in various industries. But who gets those taxpayer dollars is now being scrutinized.
That smells and feels like the Greenbelt. It's the usual suspects, right? The wealthy, well-connected insiders, the lobbyists, the people with connections to Doug Ford, donors. Same thing.
The AG report called the process for selecting applicants not fair, transparent, or accountable, and noted potential preferential treatment by the minister's office in its selection of applicants to fund. A total $742 million was doled out to projects ranked low and medium priority by the government's own metrics. Of those, $126 million was awarded to 64 firms that used registered lobbyists to persuade the Ministry of Labour before they were selected.
We do reserve the right as a ministry to look at programs like that.
Were you influenced by lobbyists as the Auditor General contends?
I think there's something this government's shown is the most accessible government in Ontario's history, and that's without question.
So that's a yeah?
Well, I think we have a very robust system in Ontario. It is the strictest system in Canada.
The Minister of Labour appeared virtually to respond to the findings, but denied any wrongdoing, insisting the program is playing by the rules and selecting meaningful projects that have helped train 700,000 Ontarians.
Minister, the auditor said that this was an unfair process, that it wasn't transparent, and it doesn't sound like you're going to make any changes to the process. So what is your plan to make this a fair and transparent process?
Well, we've accepted the Auditor General's recommendations, and as I said,
what changes
the Auditor
are you
General,
going to make? What tangible changes are you going to make?
as a minister who's responsible for every single dollar that goes out from this fund, we want to make sure that they're being used to change lives.
The opposition leader says she will be filing a complaint with the Integrity Commissioner.
The government is putting hundreds of millions of dollars into the pockets of their friends, helping out their lobbyists. You know, this is outrageous. And the government, again, to me, this looks like corruption.
And Alan, the report also noted that other provinces like Alberta and BC do not involve the minister's offices when it comes to decisions about which applicants to fund.
The auditor also had other reports today, including a look at the $10 a day childcare program. It has not happened much here in Ontario.
Yeah, it has yet to become $10 a day, and that was one of the findings from the report, that Ontario is lagging behind other provinces when it comes to reaching that goal. The other takeaway was that there's a $2 billion shortfall that is going to make it even more difficult to get to $10 a day. And the report noted that the province had promised 86,000 new childcare spaces by 2026. Well, they've only managed to create less than half of that. I asked both the Education Minister and the Premier about the findings.
I don't think, frankly, that we will be in a position to meet the $10 a day program as set up by the federal government unless they are willing to step up to the plate and add the money that is required to get us to $10 a day.
Minister, why did your government use the money from the federal government in 4 years instead of the 5 that it was allocated for?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, actually, because the money actually came towards the end of a fiscal year. It's an accounting issue.
What do you say to the tens of thousands of parents in this province who are unable to find a spot right now under your government's watch?
Well, it's a combination of a few things. We've always said we need the federal government to step up. We're the only ones that made the deal that we have to renew, so we need the support from the federal government.
And by the way, Ontario's agreement with the federal government expires on March 31st, and Calandra noted today that negotiations on a new agreement have yet to begin.